What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another NBA Rundown brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm here with Tyler and Travis. Tyler, quite the turnaround in Milwaukee last night as the game finished over 60 points under the closing number of 233. What did you take away from that game last night?
Could we really call it a turnaround, though? I mean, yeah, they won the game. They won it by 3. But you look at the box score, It was literally 2-on-2. Like, they beat Katie and Kyrie. Yeah. Joe Harris went 1 for 11. It took Middleton and Giannis putting up, 68 points together and grabbing 29 rebounds for them to sneak out a win. I mean, yeah, they take the one game in the series, but I think Brooklyn turns around and takes game 4 easily.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we can point to certain things, right? Like Joe Harris isn't going to shoot that bad again. We were watching on the live show. Durant was just missing shots that he makes all day. Like, I mean, that T jumper that he usually gets, that nice little free throw line level. I mean, he was wide open and they just weren't going in. It was tough to watch, because I tailed your play on the Nets money line pregame, and then we doubled down in game. And I felt the close game was going to lend itself to the Nets, and then they kind of botched the last possession. Bruce Brown runs wide open to the rim. Probably a little nervous. Probably would have been better if someone was covering him, right? Could try to draw a foul or something.
Yeah.
Didn't work out for him. Other storylines from the game I would talk about. Chris Middleton played a lot better. Holiday redeemed himself in certain ways, right? He was effective of sorts. And Giannis was 1 from 8 from the 3, so they're quite content to let him keep shooting. Travis, I mean, what do you think of that strategy there? Do you think that Budenholzer should keep letting Giannis shoot those open threes, or should he just pass out of them like Draymond does?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Budenholzer is not the brightest coach, but he ramped up the minutes a little bit, right? I mean,
that's what I was
that was
say.
good.
Can we give him some credit? I like to make fun of coaches, but we'll give him credit where it's due. Yeah, I mean, obviously you don't want him shooting all those threes all the time. I mean, that's not gonna win you a series. But ultimately, it was a close game, right? And I think if you're gonna have a lot of close games, I'm gonna lean on Kyrie and KD to get it done. Of course, sometimes the other guys are gonna get a win, right? They're not gonna win 100% of the time. Also, if you're a Bucks backer, you probably don't feel good, right? It's not sitting well. Now, are you in the position where, hey, you took your business at home? Maybe game 4, if you're a Bucks guy, maybe you come out and you can get that 10-point win or more, you'll start feeling a lot better about it. But I don't feel like that's going to happen. I feel really good about being on the Nets in the next game. I think the Nets kind of get the job done in the next one. So I think that line is going to move towards them as well. And I'm going to be on the Nets for sure for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, I have to agree with you there, right? As someone who backed the Bucks for the series, I really needed like a 15-point and a 20-point runaway there. And the way the Nets shot, it was wide open. The fact that the Nets played so bad and the Bucks weren't able to blow them out, and it was like a grinded out, 1989 style playoff game, I don't think bodes well for the Bucks. But you
play that game 10 times. How many times does Joe Harris go 1 for 11 and 1 from 7 from 3?
Yeah,
probably once or twice.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to see, but Milwaukee gets another one. They head back to Brooklyn with new life, so the series isn't over. They acquitted themselves well. Bud saved his job. We can't put him on Indiana Pacers just yet there, Travis. We thought we might be doing this morning.
Oh, don't put him on the Pacers. Don't do that, please. No.
That's Terry Stotts' job. They already announced it. They said they're looking at him.
That would make some sense, actually. Stotts would make sense.
Who would you rather have, Stotts or Bud?
Definitely Stotts over Bud. Bud's an idiot. So
I'd at least take the first round number 1 seed before I lose.
It's fair. I will say, Spread, we did talk about that Nets Bucks game. Remember, we talked about that a ton, and we said that line 3.5. We said it should be 2.5 or 1.5. I mean, I feel pretty good. We handicapped that one pretty decent.
Yeah, no, and we've been hitting them pretty good, right? In that Utah game, right? We said we wanted 2.5, and it ended up mattering. So,
I mean, they're good at setting the lines. I mean, I mean, I know it's not like a hot take to be like, oh, it's close to line, but we definitely talked about how there were spots where we said, yeah, we kind of like the Bucks to win, but we think there's still a little bit of value there on the net. So pretty interesting that we kind of got those.
No, I think we did a good job. We said, hey, these games are going to be close to the line. And then Tyler came in on the Phoenix game and said, don't even bother about the points. They're going to blow them away. So I thought he did a pretty good job there. Let's talk about the evening game. and I missed that game again. A little disappointed in my handicap, Travis. So, we go and review where we got things wrong. You know what I got wrong? Kawhi's not the defender he used to be. Mitchell was torching him. I said, oh, it'll be fine. They're going to make the switch. They're going to put Leonard on Mitchell. It didn't matter. It did not matter. That's how good Donovan Mitchell is. Like, I don't want to take anything away from him, but I think Kawhi might be a little slower there. The adjustment that I was counting on, the trump card, it didn't win. It didn't come through. Tyler, what did you think of that game? Obviously, Donovan Mitchell's performance was just fantastic. I mean, Luka-esque, I might say.
Yeah, I mean, Utah looked good. They have no answer for Rudy. What did he grab? 20-some rebounds? Just like I said in yesterday's rundown, if he's not in foul trouble or they're not dragging him out of the paint, he's going to wreak havoc in the series. Yeah. That's what he did yesterday. And, I mean, if Mitchell's scoring like this, the Clippers might get one game, but that might be it.
I mean, Travis, you know how hard it was for me last night when I'm watching the game and I realized I had put a lot of money on a team giving serious minutes to Reggie Jackson and DeMarcus Cousins. Like, I mean, is this another intervention again? We've had a little problems with this relationship. Do we go back to counseling or do we just end it?
Oh man, I wouldn't mind the ending. I will say this: I feel like I feel like I had a lot more riding on the Clippers last series than this series, so I feel like I was cautious going into this one. Okay. I will say that, but I said I'm going to jump back on. It wouldn't be right if I didn't. They're still only down 2-0. I feel like the Bucks guys right now. Let's go home and see what can happen. Let's go home and see what can happen. I want to evaluate a little more. I gave Ty Lue crap. I said, hey, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think he's slow to adjust. I don't think he's the greatest at it. And I do think they have a really tough roster where it's not easy to make adjustments. Like there's always a hole, it feels like. Like if you start constructing like a starting five against another team, like I started thinking, well, if they played the Suns, they played the Nuggets. Like I started trying to think through what would you do? Not just for like the closing starting five, but also staggering in the second unit. And it's not the easiest to construct with this team. So they didn't panic last time, and they definitely talked a lot about that, how we're not going to panic. We know what we've done wrong. We're just missing some shots. I'm not going to panic yet. I really want to see how game 3 goes. Now, they could win game 3, and I might be worried still, but I really want to see one more game and see how they adjust it all out before I kind of put the nail in the coffin. I mean, JSU, he got on me the last time when I kind of put the nail in the coffin, and I was very nervous, and it was just me being worried about last year. I want to see them go home. I want to see how they do. Yes, Donovan Mitchell is amazing. And I've always thought that he was going to kind of do this takeover stuff and be absolutely incredible. I thought he was going to take this next step, and he's been awesome. But I still think Rudy Gobert can be a weakness at times. He has shown to be better in this series, but I think there are ways to exploit him, and I'm curious to see how they do that. And I think the way you do that is going with more of that small ball lineup. And there's a little bit of praying there and gambling there with that as well, because he can beat you a little bit inside, but it's just playing the 3-ball game. And that's something that they've been incredible at. They were one of the fourth, I think, were they the 4th best shooting 3-point team in NBA history during the regular season? Like, if their threes are falling, like threes are more than twos, right? And I think they want to play that lineup all the time. But again, you can't just play them 48 minutes, right? It's about balancing it out and trying to figure out how to do it the second unit and giving them enough breaks. And I'm going to give Kawhi some credit and say, hey, he's still Kawhi Leonard. Stars rise when their backs are against the wall. DeMarcus Cousins doesn't play for 11 minutes when your backs are against the wall. Backs are against the wall probably here this next game, though. I mean, you got to win the first one at home. This is a big game.
Yeah, I mean, so here's an issue, right? When we have the Mavericks, right, and we're going back after 2 games, we can at least say, like, well, Dorian Finney-Smith and Hardaway, right, and all these guys, they're not going to light it up from 3. But the thing is, Bogdanovich and Ingles, right, this is like normal for them to light it up from 3. It's not like they are performing something that we wouldn't expect from them, right? We've talked about the Jazz's 3-point shooting prowess all year. That's something I'm concerned about. But, our guy West Coast mentioned it in the chat. Donnie M left the game a little gingerly. Serge Ibaka, if he comes back, I mean, I think that's why the roster construction looks so bad. I think he was really supposed to be the small ball 5 here in the starting and closing lineups. I think that's a big loss. With Mitchell being ginger, the expected shooting regression, but in a positive manner. Travis, I'm pulling it up on Bookmaker right now. Plus 340 for the Clippers to win the series. Can I have your endorsement?
I mean, I said it on the last show. Like, I mean, you can do it. Like, I even said, like, hey, like, you could wait this one and then jump on it later. I mean, You can. I just don't think you need to. That's all.
Okay.
It's not a necessity. I'm not just going to be like doubling down again. I haven't been as impressed. Like the last series, like you Smith thing was important. Oh, I think I'm back now. Sorry.
Yeah, you're back. You're back. We got you. We didn't miss too much.
The Dorian Finney-Smith thing was a great point. Like he's not going to bang 4 3-pointers, right? Like I think all the Dallas stuff you said before is what gave me more of the confidence. I don't have as much of that confidence. Maybe Mitchell is more. If you told me Mitchell like is more gingerly and like it sounds like it could be more serious based on some quotes you're hearing and stuff, or even from watching the game. Obviously, you won't be able to have that line. But if you want to take the bet on that could be a part of the percentage and it's not calculated in, then you can go for that. But I don't know if I'll put much on it. I'll probably discuss with a couple people, look at some of the box scores. I didn't get to catch all the game last night, and then make a decision on it. But I'm not as excited about the Clippers as I was after Game 3. I kind of felt really confident after that Game 3. I was like, I think the Clippers will get it done. They'll power through. It felt like again last year I lost with them with winning the title, so I was a little worried that maybe they were just not the same team. They just can't close here. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt here, spread.
All right. Tyler, we watched last night, right? That Jazz offense is pretty bad when Mitchell's on the bench. Great shooters, right? I continue them. They can knock down their open shots. Can't necessarily create them as well. What do you think about that plus 340, or am I just holding on to false hope?
I mean, would it surprise me if Kawhi went crazy and they won this series? Not really. Mm-hmm. But I just think, like, there are ways for them to play Rudy out of this series. Mm-hmm. But I only think there's really 2 legit ways they can do that, and that's if they get him into foul trouble or if they're dragging him out of the paint to the 3-line with small ball. But when you're dragging him out of the paint with small ball, he's going to kill you on the offensive glass. Like, any shot they miss, he's grabbing that rebound, putting it right back in.
Right.
So, I mean, it's give or take. I don't think they can make enough threes to beat them, so I think Utah's in the conference finals.
All right, well, I'm going to hold off on that play for now because it's not going anywhere. I can't imagine it being bet into too heavy, so I'll have a little time to think about it. Let's jump into tonight, gentlemen. The first game we have is the Philadelphia 76ers heading down Atlanta to take on the Hawks. Of course, this series is 1-1. Joel Embiid, we were concerned about his status, Tyler. He's looked fantastic. Dropped 40 in their win on Tuesday night, I believe it was. And now we're looking at the Hawks here, right? But, hey, I'll tell you guys what. I'm on the Hawks. They've covered 20 of their last 26 at home, 21-2 straight up at home since February 21st. Obviously, cherry-picked a little bit choosing that February 21st. But that gives me a 9-13 win percentage at home. That's what I'm going here. I'm going for the Hawks to bounce back. And I know you like Ginger Clay tonight. Tyler, what do you think of the Hawks and Kevin Huerter tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hawks would definitely get it done tonight. My worry here is, though, Philly comes in and just locks down Trae Young on defense. They put Ben Simmons on him from the start.
Mm-hmm. I think he's going to get foul calls if they do that. I think he's going to get the friendliest whistle tonight.
Yeah, I think that too. We got to see the ref assignments. That could be big too.
Oh, I hate those. I hate that.
It sucks that they actually mean something, but
I know, and it sucks when you place your bet and then you get the tweet like I did last night when I sent you on the Utah one, right? Where all the ref stats were against me. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're just like you said, Kevin Huerter. I mean, DeAndre Hunter's out. He is really the only wing that's coming off the bench. Lou Williams basically the point guard.
Yeah, I won't let JT Hayes hear this Tony Snell slander.
He's going to play 35 minutes. They have his points prop at 11.5, and you could bet his threes prop. They lined it at 1.5. I went on FanDuel. You could take the over 2.5, which he's hit in 3 of his last 4 games. It's plus 200. I think that's a slam dunk play.
That correlates with my handicap. I expect to see Hawks friendly whistle, Hawks role players show out, and I expect to see a nice comfortable win. Travis, what do you think of my assessment?
Sounds like we're getting a Hawks win tonight, which I can always get behind, right? I mean, I do like this team. I think that they definitely go back to Philly, and it's going to be 2-2. I don't see the Hawks making it 3-1, right? I think it's going to be a good grind series. I'm excited for it. I'm definitely going to be watching this one, and I'll get the job. Don't go with the 1.5. You're going to bet it. Just bet the money line, right? If you're going to bet this thing, you bet the money line on it. That would be my lean there. I love the Huerter call. Huerter is a guy that he's not like known as like yeah, I'm not saying he's like a lockdown defender, right? But he's a competent defender that can also shoot the three ball and is the guy coming off the bench that they want to get the ball to, right? Like he is definitely a good guy to be a part of this offense. So I love the plus 200. I'm probably going to bet that. That's a great call, Tyler. I think that's one that I did not know. And I'm excited for this game. I lean the Hawks over the Sixers. I hope they can get the job done. And I agree with all the role players, right? And if we can see some Tony Snell action, I'll never complain for our boy JT Hayes spread.
Yeah, and so speaking of which, we got a total of 224.5. We stacked the wrong game last night, Travis, but hey, these things happen. Maybe a little bit of value here. And, I mean, is the spend up for Embiid just a no-brainer?
Yeah, so it's always relative to the slate, right? So if we look, right, and let me pull it up real quick. I don't have DraftKings up. I typically have like 1,000 tabs up. For some reason, there's not a DraftKings tab right now on my screen, but we'll get one up.
33 Call of Duty Discords, huh? No DraftKings.
No. I have a lot of baseball stuff actually up right now.
You're a hardworking man, Travis. We appreciate you hanging out.
We got the what's it called? Embiid and Jokic. The key I'm going to mention is, so I talk about this a lot. Like center, you can only play twice, right? So like if I want to spend up for studs, right? And it's an interesting slate because the studs on this slate are Jokic, Embiid, and then it's Trae Young, Booker, and like it drops off, right? It's just two 10K guys and above. So like if you play Jokic and Embiid, which I like to play stars, well, I'm out of a utility, right? So my flexibility is less. Now, is there any value centers on this slate? Now, DeAndre Ayton. No, you can't get excited about Kongwu, I don't think. Like, I mean, Collins is 5'8", but you can play him at forward. I mean, Millsap, you can play at forward. He's not an amazing value, but again, he's a guy that's 3.4K. I look for these like dusty dudes that are like 3K that can kind of get you there. Which Millsap played 12 minutes and got you 25 fantasy points. Like that's like, like you want like.
What do they have JaMychal Green priced at?
Let's see. Mike is
he's got to be like 32.
He's at 3.5.
I think that's worth it.
Yeah, things like he'll play 24 minutes and get you like 10 fantasy points, but 10's not the end of the world at 3.5. It really isn't.
He was one of the guys in the locker room yelling at him and Aaron Gordon, and then he went for a double-double the next game. You didn't hear about that? They were the announcers talked about that in the game. It was after game one. They went in the locker room. It was him and Aaron Gordon. I guess they were yelling at everyone else, basically saying they gave up after that game.
Well, I heard Mike Malone say that, but I didn't know if that was just like a,
Yeah, they said Gordon and JaMychal Green were the two players that led that in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so looking at everything, like, I think you can pay for both of those studs, right? If you tell me I have to pick one or the other, part of me wants to say Jokic at home, right? Because I feel like it's a good bounce back spot for him. But my problem is I just think Embiid's so dominant. And, like, it kind of reminds me of Durant last night. Now, I like Durant. I went with Mitchell and Giannis over Durant. I almost jammed all three, but it was a little difficult to do. I think, and the reason why it was difficult to do is because you wanted to play guys like Brook Lopez and Joe Ingles, right, who were in like that 4K range that were really good. Instead of trying to go, like, I think one of my 2v2s was, and Drew Holiday wasn't great, but it was like a 3v3 of Drew Holiday, Ingles, and Brook Lopez versus like Kevin Durant and like a couple of dustier dudes, right? Like in like the 3K range, like a Zubac and like someone else that was like real bad, like a PJ Tucker or a Derek Favors. And I don't even know which combo went out, but I know Brook Lopez and Ingles were really strong, where that probably ended up helping it out, even though the gap between Katie and Drew is pretty large. And because the gap between those other guys was so big. But ultimately, I think you're going to want to play Embiid over Jokic. And then I might even lean Trae Young at home in a pretty good spot. I know, again, the last game he had Ben Simmons on him, but still had 43 DraftKings points, which at 9-3, you want more, but not the end of the world. And if you're expecting the Hawks to win, pretty good spot for him. So I'm kind of leaning prioritizing Embiid first, and then Jokic third. Also the price, because it's between 10-7 and the 9-3. And when you put the 10-7 Jokic in, I think I can get like a third kind of stud in there, more like a mid-tier guy, like a Booker, a Harris, a Simmons, Capella, Chris Paul. Like, I think I can get one more of those guys in and then build out my team. So that's like my DFS breakdown of my first look of like how to get guys in there. And it always depends on what kind of value you have based on those 4K guys. Because sometimes like the 4K guys are too strong. Like Ingles with no Conley, it's a no-brainer. You just kind of play him, at least in your cash games and most contests. Now, the ownership's like 80%. You can make a case to make pivots. But ultimately, that's kind of my breakdown there.
All right. Tyler, did you have a lean on this total here? 224.5.
I mean, not really. I'd probably lean under. I think the defense picks up here, but it's pretty much a stay away from me on the total. It wouldn't surprise me to see it hang like right around that number like a couple of these other games have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel strongly more about the Huter props and the Atlanta side.
Herbert's another one. Like just like I don't know his price in DFS, but like he's 4.7, like stone lock, and he's guard and forward eligible. Keep in mind, something that people don't talk, like they don't think about, I think enough, is let's say there's a value that is only shooting guard eligible, right? Or even just center too, right? Like because you can't put him in all the different spots. There's not as many opportunities for spots to go into. Now, if you look at Kevin Huerter, I can plug him in at shooting guard, small forward, and utility, and guard. I can plug him into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. He has the ability to hit so many lineups that if he gets there, like he's a really difficult fade. So you have to understand that fading him is tougher than fading a guy that's a value center that can only be in 2 roster spots. Now, also, there's not as many centers, right? So it could be if center's deep, if center's a really deep position, then it's not as hard to fade it. But that's just the key with Kevin Huerter. You can put him on so many different teams. It makes him a much more difficult fade if he gets there.
All right. Well, I think Embiid and Huerter are going to be the cornerstones of making a little lineup for myself tonight, and hopefully it turns out a little better because you stacked that Milwaukee game last night, and you don't even bother checking the DraftKings, right? Sometimes I check after the first game. It was like, you know what? I'll wait till the morning to see how my team did because obviously not as good as I was
gonna say this, Fred, real quick. I said at the start of the playoffs, and I don't know what it's hit at, but I feel like betting Nets unders would have been a smart idea. They were this team that in the regular season they were known as like the worst defense in the world, but like they got these stars, man. Of course, like they're gonna lock up a little bit better on defense, right?
It's dramatic.
Yeah.
It's dramatic how much better Kyrie and especially KD. And I'll give Durant credit. He's been bringing it on both ends of the floor.
It's something to think about, I think, next year, Spread. Like we should think about and we're always trying to get better, right? They're handicapping. Like think about next year in the playoffs. Who are the teams that played some really lazy, crappy defense and maybe the aggregate on it is because of guys being out and the stars not playing all the games, and you can get some value on some unders. And that's something we probably should have. I think we could have even attacked a little bit better on the rundown as well. Some of those unders, I know you got on some of them earlier, but I think we could have done a better job of that. And that's something we'll look to do better with next season.
Yeah, and it's funny. We targeted the under, and then the price dropped, and I just tried to take advantage of the price drop on the Keg Show last night. So wasn't my best performance, but fortunately in this industry, the best thing about it is whenever you struggle, you always have the opportunity to bounce back, and it's the blessing and the curse of doing a daily sport, right, Tyler? You get to bounce back so quickly, but boy, sometimes it can get overwhelming as we just grind day in, day out, and these days are starting to blend together. Speaking of blending together, I know our handicaps are not going to blend together on this next game, Tyler. The Suns head to Denver to take on the Nuggets. You are Team Phoenix. You've been out here, you think they're better than Utah. You like them to go ahead and advance here. What do you see tonight? Because I jumped in on the the home team on the first game. I like Denver here. My concern is Michael Porter's health. Go ahead and break this game down. And what do you expect to see from Porter tonight?
I mean, Porter's going to have his game. I mean, you look at it, his back stiff from last game.
He's not 100%, right?
Yes,
I mean, that's
definitely
the thing
not
that's keeping me off.
Yeah. These guys have just Bridges, Crowder, Johnson, Craig. These wings are just athletic. They play great defense. Mm-hmm. Denver won that first half of that game 1. Yeah. They've lost every quarter since. And the lowest points they've lost the quarters by is 4 points. They've lost them quarters by 10, 8, 6, 9, 6, and 4. Mm-hmm. So they haven't even been close to this Phoenix team. These role players are starting to shoot better. These guards for Denver looked good against Portland because Portland plays no defense. Mm-hmm. Now they're in a straitjacket because Phoenix is locking them up. They've scored 21 points outside of Campazzo's 14-point performance in game 1. I just don't see how they score points tonight. Phoenix is just going to keep rolling. They smelled blood against LA, and they put the sword in their heart. They're going to do the same thing here with Denver. I just don't see how Denver pulls out a victory. Their role players could get hot, but even if they get hot, you don't want to get into a track meet with a team that's got more offensive weapons than you. They're not going to play good enough defense to lock these guys down.
I mean, I would just say my counter would be like, look what we saw in Brooklyn last night, where Joe Harris went from, Larry Bird's illegitimate son to just absolutely terrible, right? I think some of these role players, Crowder, Bridges, could regress. Paul and Booker, I think we can count on them. Ayton, I think, is a true wild card here. If he plays well, it's going to be very tough road for Denver to handle. I do expect also Denver's role players to play a lot better at home. And once again, we talked about it. These friendly whistles for the home teams. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of that. Also, Barton's second game back, maybe see an improvement as he kind of gets used to the pace of the game. Travis, Tyler and I are split, but I'll tell you what. I'm debating them, but I haven't placed the bet on Denver yet. And I said it earlier, my concern is the Porter Jr. injury. What is your take on this game?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Suns won this game. It's always tough to fire on the game 3 where obviously the team can bounce back. They have the MVP, so it gives me a little bit of pause. I want to bet the Suns really bad here. It's that how it is, that game 3, it stares you in the face. Tyler, how are you you just think it's going to be they run them over here and then
I just don't it's yes, Denver could come out and shoot the lights out.
Yeah.
But we've seen Milwaukee do that last night. And I know we want to compare those two games, but Milwaukee's 2 stars went out there and did that last night. Nobody else did. They scored 79% of their points. Denver has one guy. He ain't scoring 79% of their points tonight. And Campazzo, Monty Morris, Austin Rivers, the only guy that can play defense on on Denver is Gordon.
Yeah.
He can. So where are you stopping this Phoenix Suns team that's starting to roll?
I'm kind of with you. I want to bet them, and it's sort of an in your head thing, right? Because it's we're I feel like we're training monkeys now. Game 3 is
you want to. It's they have to win this one if they don't want to just be dead in the water. But I hate to say it, no disrespect to Jokic because he can't help that his team got injured all year.
Yeah,
he's going down. This is it.
I don't disagree. I kind of think that they
the way Denver plays defense too, they're gonna give this team threes in the corner.
And MPJ's hurting, right? I think
that's what bothers me, man. Otherwise, this would be smash spot. I mean, it's just, it sucks so bad. I woke up today just wanting to bet the Nuggets, and the more I looked into it, and then I went back and I rewatched, he's not the same guy.
This Phoenix team is starting
to get better in 2 days.
Yeah, and this Phoenix team is starting to roll similar to how Miami started to roll in the bubble last year. They started to hit their threes. Their stars started
Phoenix
to play
rolled in the bubble last year, right?
But I'm talking into the playoffs. We seen them just start to smack teams. They went through Milwaukee like they were nothing. They got to Boston. They went right through them too.
Well,
you guys are kind of getting me to flip flop here, man.
There's nothing more powerful than a team that is a team and they believe in themselves. And they're not scrubs, right? Of course, there's some teams that they play over their head, but this team's actually good. Are they playing over their head a little bit? Yeah, you can argue that. But they're a good team. They have good players. They have an awesome constructed team. And DeAndre Ayton, people want to give him crap, right? Because of course he's in the draft at Luka, and yes, they should have took Luka, no doubt. And I thought it was the dumbest pick ever. But DeAndre Ayton has always had some promise, right? And Chris Paul is bringing that out in him. And Chris Paul,
DeAndre Ayton's going to play in his first finals before Luka does, because DeAndre Ayton's going to be in the finals this year.
I
love the confidence, Tyler.
I hope you're right. And where's my boy West Coast Gem saying that these Suns could never make it out the first round? Where's he at, man?
He's here with us. I seen him in the chat earlier because he said that he kills you all the time on Call of Duty.
He said you're a free kill.
Let's check in with the chat real quick. We'll go back to the last game. Philadelphia is a better team all year. Why do you think Atlanta beats them? Why do you like Atlanta tonight? Philadelphia is a better team. And this, he's talking about the Nuggets here. He says, don't believe the hype. And Denver can't beat Phoenix. This series is over. Our guy Matt Twatty says, Phoenix just blowing people out. These games aren't even close. Hey, so here's my nice little joke that I've been setting up, Travis. So we know that James Jones, right, was just rolling along with LeBron all those years. You remember how he just ended up on all of those LeBron teams, like no matter what? Like James Jones was just his teammate for like 6 years. Now he's the best GM in the league, arguably. Imagine if LeBron had just let James Jones be the GM instead of doing it himself all those years. Imagine how many titles he could have won.
Where's Jones the GM again?
Isn't he the GM in
Phoenix?
Phoenix?
He's the Phoenix. I didn't know. I don't know.
It's just so crazy that this guy that just tagged along with
office.
LeBron had the knowledge the whole time to construct this beautiful roster, and LeBron's out here giving max contracts to Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith. Like it's just, it's like it was right in front of his nose the whole time, right?
I'll tell you a quick story that it kind of relates a little bit. You know, like they always say like good players like aren't the best GMs or whatever. I mean, I guess the Marlins have been okay, but not the best so far. Derek Jeter's run hasn't been so good, but I had lunch with Brian Cashman, and he basically said it was like a DraftKings thing, you know, and he said like Jeter wasn't the best when he came to player evaluations. You know what I mean? Like, you know, players will go to, you know, he's got a good relationship with, be like, oh, you know, he'd recommend this player, and it wouldn't work out a lot of the time.
No, so, they're all really bad, and like I think Carmelo and Anthony's the perfect example of this, right? All the players love him. You want to know why? Because he can cook them one-on-one. So they're saying like, gosh, even when I play my best defense, Carmelo scores over me. He's so good. They're not looking into all these other factors. They're just like amazed that they can't lock this guy down at his age, right? And they're giving him respect for that. But there's more to the game than just being able to make contested isolation mid-range jumpers. So I think we're all in agreement here. West Coast Gem did jump back in here if you want to go ahead and talk on this. He says, Suns so overrated. They beat an injured Lakers. They beat the injured Nuggets. Talk about getting lucky with the 4-leaf clover. Do you want to respond to that, Travis?
Lucky. Oh, no. Boo-hoo. They're getting lucky. They should have took Halliburton.
We can make this argument for years and years. I mean, the Warriors got lucky. CP3 got hurt. LeBron got lucky. Draymond got suspended.
You can't tell me CP3's a bum because he always gets hurt and then say, oh, he got lucky that guys got hurt. My guy's playing through his injury, West Coast. My guy's fighting through. My guy's taking your teams out.
All right, and we got to give these guys credit here. Landa here to take the victory lap, right? We didn't believe it yesterday. How about those Bucks, Fred? It's going 7. Landa, grab that Olympic torch. Take your lap around the field. He gets the victory lap for tonight.
Landa gets it as long as he bet the money line. If he bet the 3.5, he doesn't get it. Let's be fair. I mean,
great
gotta
point.
Be fair. I hope he took the money line because
to be fair, we took the money line, so he was going against our
spread. You got to put that spread. You got to put that comment on the screen.
Which one?
Booker, the only dude that's good on their team.
Wait,
do they not have one of the best point guards ever?
And like we said, the role players might be.
Are we not watching him just put the ball on a string and watch that defense just squirm while he works the ball around or shoots a mid-range jumper?
Like, oh no, Landa laid the 3.5.
Oh no!
Oh, why did you even type that? You should just let us believe.
He's got the Bucks plus 7.25 to win the series.
Okay, hopefully you'll be getting the victory lap, Landa, because I'll be taking that one too. You know, I still have the Bucks futures right, and even though I've kind of ignored those parts of my portfolio.
If he's holding that ticket, he's definitely happy, right? To get that one under the belt. You get a win in the chamber. Now you go over to game 4 and you try and just keep taking care of business at home. I totally get it. I feel like that is someone who's back in the Clippers. I want to now see game 3, get one under my belt, and then keep moving this thing along and then steal one at home.
All right, guys. Well, I feel that definitely, I feel like we got in these games pretty well tonight. I think we gave places everywhere people can go. Bettings, the totals, we were pretty wishy-washy. You guys can give us some crap about that. But Travis definitely helped you get a great start to build a couple lineups tonight if you want to get some action on the daily fantasy side. So it is time. Our guy, Gregory Russo, his official memorial segment, the best bets. Tyler, let's start with you. What's your best bet for the evening? Side, total, or prop?
I know everyone thinks I'm going to say Suns money line.
No, we already know what you're going to say. Ginger Clay.
Nope.
Really?
It's in that Suns game.
Okay, let's hear it.
With Denver being favored, of course they have the higher team total in this game. Phoenix hasn't given up 113 points in the playoffs.
Team total under.
Denver team total under. I love that play here.
Okay.
Because I think if they want to have a chance to win the game, you can't get into a track meet with this Phoenix team. You have to slow it down.
They're slow and efficient. They've been slow all year. It was wild that they were hitting their overs.
Two of the slowest paced teams left in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If they want any chance, this is going to have to be like 105 to 100 wins. So give me that team total under.
All right. You know what? You're actually making me lean towards the under overall here. I might actually do that rather than play Denver tonight. Travis, best bet tonight, side total prop.
Yeah, so I definitely came on late to replace AP, so I wasn't as I didn't look at the full card and everything. And I'm not like jumping. I'd say I lean the Hawks, right? I lean the Suns. I'm not jumping to bet those. I like the Herder one a lot though. I like the value on it, right? Like if you
it's like you need
want
to hit 35%.
You want a side or total so I would say the Suns would be like I would lean the Suns money line if you had me pick a spread, but I like the Herder plus 200. It's 2.5 threes, right, Tyler?
Yeah, 2.5 threes.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it was 1.5. That would be wild. That would just be like the
one. There's 1.5, but it's minus like 170. We ain't paying that juice.
Yeah,
he
don't
either
pay
goes
that.
off
You go
or
to
he
the other
doesn't.
one. Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be my best bet. Kevin Herder, 2.5 threes.
All right, I love it. We got Ginger Clay, and I'm going to go ahead and just take the Hawks money line tonight. I mean, we talked about hashtag sports entertainment before. We talked about Trae Young drawing fouls. Not only we talked about it, the mayor of New York talked about it. I think it'll be there tonight. I expect to see him get a friendly whistle. I mean, Embiid's got like 5 more free throws per game than Trae. Not something I expected going into the series. I think Embiid's going to get a harsher whistle tonight. I do think that Trae's going to get a friendly whistle tonight. I also think that Capella, I read some of those quotes. I know you love them. McMillan was really down on their ability to prevent Embiid from getting deep post position. I think they're going to be a lot more aggressive in preventing and fronting that post. And I also think they're going to get a friendly whistle and be allowed to be a little more physical while they keep him out again, that deep post position. So I love Atlanta to bounce back tonight. Lean the under in the Denver game for the reasons that Tyler said. And instead of going with the team total, I think I'll just go the full game under. I mean, he makes the great points about the pace. 2 of the slowest teams all year. The worry is 2 of the most efficient offenses. So just a quick recap. Travis likes Kevin Herder over 2.5 threes. You can grab that at FanDuel, 4+ money. Tyler likes the Nuggets team total under, and I am on the Hawks money line. Hey guys, Travis wasn't even scheduled to come on today. Really late notice. I mean, I didn't even get up till a couple hours ago. So thank him for jumping on today. You can thank him by liking the video, subscribing to the channel. And Tyler, Run Pure Sports, what we got going on this weekend. I know that our guy Keg's going to be on with Title tomorrow morning for the MMA show at 11 a.m. Eastern. What other NBA content and Major League Baseball content do you have for the people this weekend? I think we missed Travis.
Oh, you said I thought you said Tyler, so I was like, I know
it's okay.
Do this.
Yeah, Tyler doesn't know the schedule. I
know that's why I was a little confused. Maybe I misheard it. I swear
I thought you froze up.
I said my name too. I was like, great. I gotta make up the schedule.
Like I said, I just woke up 2 hours ago after getting smacked around last night.
Tyler and Travis, it's one that you can confuse. My mom almost named me Tyler too, so
all right.
I think it's between those two. But we have a ton of stuff that Title, Keg, and I believe Draft Cheat. They'll all be
Draft
on.
Cheat.
I believe it's normally Joey Work. I guess Keg is on, you're saying, instead of Joey.
Yeah, Joey Works. He's having fun this weekend. I can't remember exactly what, but I mean, the guy was out catching shark last weekend, right? What a life.
Yeah, I know. Actually, I was talking to buddy last night. I might go catch some sharks in like late June, so we'll see that. Maybe I'll have a Joey Work picture to post. But
I hope so.
That would be fun. Keg is going to be on with that for the free MMA show on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. You can also check out today at 4:00 me, Draft Cheat, and JT Hayes. We will be live talking to some MLB winners, and then 5:30. I don't know if it's JSU, Big T. It's a group of us. Yeah, I don't know who it is, but it's I'm sure at least JSU you'll get for sure. Holden will probably be there. They'll be breaking everything down on the premium side, so check all that out. We have everything you need over at Run Pure Sports. Use the code RPSHeater25 to get 25% off, or use Euro25 to get 25% off. Either code you can use. We have the Euro Cup coming up here. It's like a month long, and there's some big prize pools, and it's going to be a lot of fun. There's a chance I'm doing a show with Rubio and Kay Fallick on our channel. Stay tuned. If we're able to do that, we'll be giving you guys that content, and overall, a lot of stuff. Any sport you need, one price, $80 a month, $25 a week, however you want to do it. We also have a yearly price as well.
Fantastic, plenty of content, and what a time to be a member of the Run Pure team. Tyler, any more thoughts before we come back tomorrow to talk about this next group of games?
Just one. If you wanted to combine your guys' 2 favorite plays, FanDuel has that player performance double. Kevin Huter 3+ threes, and Atlanta wins plus 520.
Why don't you tweet that out right now for us?
I can do that.
I like that.
Mangone's muted. He was saying something.
What is it again? I missed it.
Dude,
Kevin Huger. Yeah,
I want to do that on the spreadsheet, bro.
So it's Herder
a
to
5-unit banger. Let's go.
It's
Herder
Herder to win and how many threes?
Herder to make the 3+3s and win the game is +520.
So it has to be 3 threes. It has to be 3.
So
Okay,
over 2.5.
Okay, gotcha. Just making sure. I didn't know if it was like the line was 3 and then at 3 it's a push and it's actually 4. That's why I was confused.
No, you get if he just gets you 3, you're good.
I mean that's not a bad bet. I definitely don't mind. I gotta find
That's
that.
fantastic.
I will. I'll definitely get that on a look before I get out of here.
All right. Well, love it. Thank you guys for hanging out, guys. Like I said, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Keg will be back for Keg Live this weekend with the UFC and the NASCAR. I think Saturday night is members only, so make sure you head on to runpurebets.com, become a member to hang out with the Keg on Saturday night. And Sunday, I will most likely be back for the evening game with him as he gives out, like, what's he on, like a 17 of 19 heater in NASCAR. We'll try and keep that going. That should be a live show, so if you want to hang out with us as well, subscribe to the channel so you can get the notification of when we go live. Gregory Russo's asking you to throw that in the Discord, Tyler. I think you should put it on the spreadsheet. Sounds like a banger to me. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out.